Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Horizen Weekly Insider number 75. Today is 8th of February, and happy Monday to you all. We are live now on Discord and YouTube, and as you know, this call will also be available for you to check out later in our Horizen podcast. Also, please remember to be asking your questions on Menti while this call is happening so we can have our regular Q&A session. Let's dive in right away and let's start with the engineering updates. I'll pass the word now to Alberto.
Oh, thank you, Angie, and hi, everybody. So let's start, as usual, about Zendoo update, and in particular with the mentioned backward transfer requests. Okay, the final code review is over, and I mean it was done today, and a few changes were requested, and these changes are going to be addressed during this week. Always related to Zendoo, there is the C sidechain withdrawal, where in last week we identified a more efficient way from mainchain perspective to construct the proof of having funds on the sidechain. And so for this reason, we are already modifying the implementation when the PR is already open, and so we will be able to, submit the final PR soon with these changes. Last thing about Zendoo is the customizable certificate fields implementation, and the first level of code review is almost finished, and soon we will be able to start the final code review sessions. Okay, now let's switch on the proving system, and in particular, we have implemented the Marlin verifier with the simulated arithmetic, and also the cohomological subject. And along with some useful optimization, and also the D-log verifier. Now we have tested them thoroughly, and the implementation is almost over. And after that, we will proceed with the first level of code review. Always related to the proving system, we have proceeded also with the multi-point and multi-poly batching. And the implementation is almost finished, and currently we are just missing to do the test, but this is exactly what we are going to do this week. And after that, we will proceed with the first code review. Okay, now let's switch to the SDK, and in particular the base fee scheme. Last week, we proceeded on the implementation of the base fee scheme, and currently is almost finished. And in particular, now we are in the final phase where we are adding the unit tests. So the code will be soon ready for the first level of code review. And finally, regarding the circuits, we were able to continue reviewing the design of the multiple circuits that we have to develop for providing the final proof, of valid history on the sidechain. But this will require a few more iteration because, as you can imagine, there are a very extensive set of verifications that have to be performed during the proof creation on the sidechain side, and this is, for example, applicable for sidechain transaction, forward transfer, and so on. Each of these operations has some specific enforcement. So we're proceeding with the verification of these checks, and this is something that will proceed. I expect for the next week. And so probably that's all for today. So back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Alberto. Let's continue now with Jonathan to give us the growth updates.
Hey everybody, have a good morning. Hopefully everybody's doing well. And for those of you celebrating Lunar New Year, have a good Lunar New Year. So we reached a really cool milestone recently. We just reached 150,000 Sphere by Horizen downloads, which is really cool. It took us 604 days to reach 100,000, which was a big milestone, and then it only took us 130 days to get to 150. So our acquisition is really accelerating at a really nice pace. And I think that it's going to continue to accelerate upwards, especially with all the new traffic that we're seeing across the faucet, the website, and HDE, everything like that. So really exciting, and it shows that the team is really working well together. Everything that we've been doing over the last 2 years is coming together and really accelerating our growth, which is really cool to see. I think we have a lot of opportunity with Sphere by Horizen once we have the resources to focus on that. And I think that this acceleration is just the beginning, and we can see really, really strong growth here. In addition to that, we're continuing to work on website changes. So the big task again for the next week or two will be optimizing the mobile performance and desktop performance, and then a couple of small tasks like updating the partnership page, updating the exchanges page, things like that. So that's it for me for this week. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Jonathan. Let's continue with Vanna to give us the VD and operations updates.
Thanks, Angie. Happy Monday, everyone. So we have new listings for today, and again from Chinese market. Zen has been listed at Hu Exchange, which is a Chinese exchange registered in Hong Kong, and on Big One, a Chinese exchange as well, registered in Seychelles. They both support renminbi deposits, and we have USDT peers there. And we have also been listed at Xin1, a bit smaller Chinese exchange, and they are using Huobi as their liquidity provider. So 3 new exchange listings from Chinese market, and thanks to our Chinese community and Guan for their work and their activity there, because we have been seeing a lot of activity and a lot of new Chinese users in this area. And now I'm passing it to Kaspers for some exciting updates.
Thank you, Anna. Hi, everybody. On the partnership side, I'm happy to say another sidechain partnership was announced last week, this time between Horizen and Apis. So just briefly, Apis is a project that provides a platform for staking services, and they are also reportedly working on the development of an asset swap service. So this is another project that will explore the implementation of Horizen sidechains and Zendoo protocol into its tech stack. Namely, they are looking to secure their platform's data by leveraging our infrastructure and potentially bridging our ecosystems for asset swap services in the future. So very exciting. Feel free to check out more details in the blog post on our website. I just like to mention that this was actually one of the earliest projects I personally spoke with in the fall last year. So you can see how long it can sometimes take to get to this stage where we are able to share the news with our community, with obviously a lot of work involved in the background. Apart from that, we are continuing to work with other existing and some very significant sidechain partnership leads. I've been focusing also on managing the high priority project for the Horizen's ecosystem that I briefly mentioned in the previous weekly insider calls. Together with Lucy, we'll hopefully be able to share the first news about this exciting project very soon, maybe even next week if everything goes according to the plan. So very hopeful about that. That's all from me. Thank you, and back to you, Angie.
Thank you, guys. Let's continue with Lucy to give us the marketing updates.
Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. So Casper's just mentioned, this week and the week after, a lot of work will be happening behind the scene for a series of a campaign for an exciting partnership / integration. Really, I cannot wait to share with you all. That's really as much as I can reveal right now. And Casper's also provided some detail about our latest partnership. with the 8-Bits platform announced last week. So there are definitely more new announcements and promotions on the way. So stay tuned. And Rob did an interview with our friend Crypto Rich. He provided a lot of interesting insights about our new DeFi partnership with Celsius, sidechains, and other insights that you really don't want to miss. So please take 10 minutes to watch it, and you can find the video on our social media feeds. And then also DappRadar, an analytical DappRadar DApp rating site published an article on Horizen where it explains the benefit of NFTs on Horizen blockchain. So as you can see on our 2021 roadmap that we just published in the beginning of this month, that we are building a game chain on Zendoo, which could bring many NFT-based games to the Horizen ecosystem. So it's really an interesting educational piece. The article is. So please take a read. It's also interesting to see that more people in the space started to see some of the potential of Horizen even before we talk about them. So, and then also the game House of Crypto beta is available to download and play on App Store download from the App Store and then play. And Horizen is one of the crypto houses in the game. So, by playing the game, players can learn more about Horizen while defending the House of Horizen. So if you're a gamer and interested, and go to the App Store and search for House of Crypto and defend the House of Horizen. And lastly, we have an event this Friday hosted by MOH. Is a basic of a blockchain with Horizen. So if you would like to learn more, if you're a newbie and learn more about Horizen, about blockchain, please sign up. And that's it from me. And lastly, happy Lunar New Year to everyone who celebrates it. Thank you. Back to you, Angie.
Thank you, Lucy. Amazing updates. Let's continue with Rosario for protein engineering.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon. As Lucy mentioned, the 2021 roadmap was released, and we'd love to hear your feedback. We're still refining projects that will be worked on later part of the year, but we're satisfied we have a grasp and proper project controls to understand our progress. And last week, we held a monthly prioritization call. Our monthly prioritization calls focus on two things: ensuring the tech team is aligned as a whole, and also to inform marketing of the monthly deliveries. During the call, we identified two conflicts or two activities that were conflicting with each other. One was the normal maintenance of Zendoo, and the other one was the actual delivery or the conclusion of the development for Zendoo. So we've deconflicted that and reduced the requirements to on the maintenance build, so we can focus on delivering Zendoo. So that's really our focus, and we're appropriately managing conflicts to ensure that we deliver Zendoo. I'm also happy to announce that we've received an RFP for the third-party audit that we will be conducting on Zendoo. And we're earmarking the start of that work on Q2 of this year. So more on that, and waiting to hear back from other vendors so that we could appropriately select this project for the third-party audit. And from a Horizen Labs perspective, so just a little bit update there. We are continuing the development of the Celsius sidechain, and that's actually going really well. One of our strategies, or a strategy that we had early on as we were working on the SDK and planning out how would we refine the SDK, was working with these partners so that we can appropriately and adjust the usability of the SDK, the functionality of the SDK to match the scenarios that we were working on. So that's exactly what we're doing, and now it's proven so effectively that we've identified some improvements to the SDK that will be performed and is actually actively being performed by Paolo from the product team. And also, Alberto had the idea of involving somebody else that had not written the SDK, so that we open up this type of development of the SDK. So the SDK is open source, and this just helps to bring other developers that have not been intimately part of that SDK development onto improving the SDK. So we are also working with the Celsius team to work out a strategy on releasing the proof of concept. And the first stage will be an introduction of the product, and the second stage will be the actual product. So keep an eye on that, and Markin will be releasing those, and we'll be involving both of our PR teams. Regarding the game chain, just as a reminder, right now we are in a support role. So the game developer is integrating the game chain library in Unity, and we are also working on optimizing multiple nodes on sidechains. That is it for now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rosario. Ralph, would you like to add any comments or updates?
Yeah, I was just thinking that this is an exciting time in crypto. With Bitcoin going up in price and Zen going up in price, and that gets more attention, and it gets more people coming in, and makes me think that over the years we've built a really good team of people that accomplish things and have a plan and get things done and work towards it. And as we get more attention and people come into our community spaces, some of them like to tell us what to do. And I just want to say that what we have been doing has been very successful all along, and we should continue doing what we're doing. And just because someone comes in and tells us that we should be doing something different doesn't mean that we need to necessarily listen to that person or do it. We have a good path to success that we've developed, that we're following, that we're going down. We have a vision that goes out years into the future. Other people might not necessarily see that vision, but we do. So feel secure in that what we've accomplished so far is wonderful, and it's just the start. And just because someone comes in and acts like they have authority to tell us what to do doesn't mean that you need to listen to them or do what they tell you to do. So stay positive, stay secure in what it is that we're doing, and continue moving forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Ralph. And now let's welcome Rob for the final part, the Q&A session.
Thanks, Angie. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining. So let's talk finances. This is a little bit of a review that I want to give because over the last month, clearly our budget has improved significantly given the market conditions. The market is obviously extremely volatile. It has been, always will be, or will be into the foreseeable future for us in crypto. So it's important to just take a step back. Like Rolf said, as the price is going up, more people are coming in and people want to do so much more. Well, we have a way of doing business. So obviously we want lots of participation, lots of communication, ideas, please float them. But it's important to just give a little bit of a review on how we do business and how we plan to do things, how we load up projects, how we execute projects, and how budget gets used to do all that. So we do quarterly budget cycles. It's just the way we do things, right? We have to plan work in advance. We have to hire employee resources. In some cases, we have outsourced resources, and the majority of the work that we do, at least on the technical side, we do ourselves in-house. And we have to acquire resources and plan for these resources, schedule scope so that we can execute. And we can't be bouncing all over the place. So we've had one good month, basically. Maybe we're going on 2 good months budget-wise. But let's not forget that as recently as last December, this project was in a bit of a financial gray zone, whether you call that a crisis or not. We really didn't know how the halving was going to go in early December last year. So, our budget was very precarious at the time. And we've subsequently done quite well in terms of the price of Zen recovering nicely. And, given the fact that we were very tight on the scope of work that we authorized, and we actually scaled back on a lot of work that we had planned previously, we've turned out ex post for things to work pretty well. But there was nothing preordained about this, and we're continuing along the process of how we do business. So let's see. Before the halving, when we were in this gray zone, we reduced scope significantly. This included the work that we were doing, projects that were ongoing, contracts that we had with other vendors. And then unfortunately, we let people go on the team as well. So this was a very painful time for the project, but we had to just be conservative and down scope just to match the budget reality that we were facing at the time. And we also had to descope work commensurately with the team and projects and so forth that we ended up having to let go. So it may seem a little weird now, like for instance, when we don't do things like quarterly reviews like we used to, but just keep in mind where, the path that we went down, and we had to descope, and we couldn't just, lay off people, but keep the work and have, an excessive work burden on those that remained. So we had to selectively choose things that we were going to descope, and things like quarterly reviews, video production, largely was something that we had to scale back on. A little known fact of the reality that we had was we focused on two specific things: communications and technology. And on the communication side, this is a very narrow element of like marketing, right? So we had to descope a significant amount of marketing budget and activities, and we kept the communications going. Like we want to continue maintaining community forums because it's so important that as a community project, we have good flow of information back and forth between the community team and different stakeholders and so forth. So we kept that, but we just have a few people on the marketing team managing all of this, managing all of the updates, all of the PRs, every information release that we have, responding to community members on questions, ideas, doing marketing material, content. All of this is being done by a few people on the team. So the other thing is on the technology side, here's really where we focused almost all of the resources of the project post drawdown. And it's paid big dividends in the sense that we've made major successes moving forward on technology deliveries, major progress on that path. But again, it's extremely narrow in scope in that we've pared down so many other fun project ideas that we had out there, in focusing very specifically on Zendoo. Anyway, just wanted to give you guys that background because again, as more people are entering the community, and people realize the price of Zen is where it is right now. People are asking for, well, why don't you do more things? Why don't you do X, Y, or Z? And what I will say is this will all come in due time. So our process, like I said at the beginning here, is a quarterly budget cycle. The next budget that we're going to be working on is the Q2 budget. And we do have some ideas for some things that we have to add scope. As a simple example, something that may not seem all that sexy, but is really exciting is we're actually just received our first proposal for a code audit for a major component of Zendoo for the big delivery. So this is something that we're going to be adding to the Q2 budget. And it's significant in scope, but maybe isn't all that sexy in terms of getting tons of communications out there to the world. But it's work that we have to do, and it's work that is a major milestone in progressing towards Zendoo hitting mainnet. That said, we are going to load other things into the budget, and obviously want to hear any and all ideas that people have on doing things. We for sure want to hire people for certain roles as we go, whether or not we're going to beef up marketing, do like developer evangelism like we talked about, maybe take on other technical scope. That's all TBD for now, but again, there is a process, and I just want to reinforce this. It all comes back to good governance and being conservative in the sense that this is a very volatile industry. We don't know where prices are going to go over the next few months. So, we just need to plan accordingly, and we're definitely going to continue growing the project. So my preference again is to be slightly conservative on this, but we will be adding new hires, we will be adding new activities, and we're going to be pushing a ton of new exposure and media, PRs with all these partnerships that we have ongoing. We're going to continue pressing with new integrations, listings. Like Vano mentions, basically every week we have new listings and integrations going live. There's some really big ones in the very near future, and a lot of the things that we're doing right now don't necessarily require added budget. It's just we've been hustling like crazy to make things happy on, a much smaller budget than we originally thought we would. Anyway, so things are going really well. Just wanted to recap that so you guys have a sense of how things work internally with just our budget control process. We have control processes for all these different things that we're working on, from project scope to budget, and it's been working really well for us, and we will be scaling things up appropriately as resources become available. So I'll stop here and we can open it up to any questions. Angie, I heard that we had some pretty good ones.
Yes, that's right, Rob. Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for contributing with your questions. So the first one is, can you talk about strategies? See, HL have almost all sidechain products, nothing in the works for the end user, aka Zen hodlers.
Well, let me, this is an important point to clarify, is all of these sidechains that we have in process of various degrees of maturity from in POCs right now, obviously, because we don't have Zendoo on mainnet. All of these, when Zendoo does go live on mainnet and these POCs mature into production products, they will have their own end users. Right? There will definitely be end users out there, but the crypto economics of what Zendoo brings to the table are huge. In fact, so this is a little plug for my Crypto Rich interview that I did last week, but where I reviewed some of the crypto economics of the implications of Zendoo. So all of these sidechains are proof of stake sidechains, stake being in Zen. Transaction loads for everything that goes on here, for all of the workers in the decentralized framework, from block forgers to optimized snark computations to circuit developers to sidechain developers. All of these people in this decentralized framework get paid in Zen. So Zen is like the transaction gas to make all of these sidechains work. So at the end of the day, Zen, demand for Zen organically has a very big source if the sidechain ecosystem is successful. And what we're doing right now with the partnerships is we're kind of feeling the marketplace. What kind of demand do we think is out there for sidechains? And thus far, it has greatly exceeded our original expectations. And you're seeing this with the POCs that we're developing, these partnerships right now. These are all just forward indicators of organic demand that exists for the sidechain technology and products. And all these products will be using Zen, whether it's Zen for staking, Zen for these transaction fees on the network. So this all benefits Zen hodlers at the end of the day, right? Whether or not source of demand for Zen comes from various people for hodling, or a source of demand comes from businesses that are launching sidechains, and there's cash flow in these sidechains that then induces masternode investors to come in and stake on the sidechains for that cash flow. It's all one big symbiotic system, and at the end of the day benefits Zen hodlers.
Thank you. The second question is, we need something sexy for Zen so the hodlers can interact with Zen with, for example, Zen Casino, Zen Lottery, Zen DeFi, decentralized exchange, VPN, etc. From the looks of it, you are financially strong as you were in late 2018.
Yeah, so I agree. I would love to see lots of sexy products out there that use Zen, whether they're sidechain products or things like Satoshi Dice running on Zen and so forth. But I mean, we've been building out this army of developers on the heap as just an example. We have HDE as another example. We're open to ideas, but what I can say is, in the very the near to intermediate term, it's certainly not going to be the core engineering team building out these things. But we very much welcome other people, from community developers to other entrepreneurs that want to join the ecosystem and try building some of these sexy projects. Throw your ideas out there, socialize them with the community, and let's see if any of them can gain some traction.
Great. And the third and final question is, CBF and HL have a separate budget. Is there no room to hire someone in CBF that can just focus on end products for the lovely Zen hodlers or users?
So yes, first of all, let me clarify. ZBF and HL certainly do have independent budgets, and they have independent requirements for what they're trying to do. And this question very appropriately mentions the ZBF side for doing something like this. And one role that I really want to see is a developer evangelist in our community, because I don't view this as the foundation is not going to, at least again in the near to intermediate term, the foundation is not going to be building out things like Satoshi Dice. Is just an example. The foundation is not going to build Satoshi Dice and throw it out there for the community, for users. But there could be other entrepreneurs out there that we can catalyze through programs like HDE, through Heap, these developers who are joining the ecosystem, if we had like a developer evangelist who can help provide the tools and give guidance and focus some of this energy for entrepreneurs to try out some of these products, that would work really well. So that to me would be, say, like our Q2 budget. I would love to open an opportunity for at least one, maybe multiple developer evangelists to be hired by the foundation, really to provide tools and capabilities more so than actual product building.
Okay, Rob, if you agree, I'd love to pick up one last question.
By all means.
Okay, it says, when Tesla registry using Zendoo?
I've been noticing some of those tweets as well. I mean, I think Elon's got to get on board the Zen train here. Would be pretty good. So maybe you guys should start reaching out to him if anyone has any connections to him directly.
Totally agree. Amazing. Okay, so I guess that's it. Thank you, everyone, for attending our weekly Insider. Remember, we do this every Monday to give you the latest Horizen updates. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Have a great day. Thank you.
Time.
Bye, guys. Have a great week.